Hello friends, here's Melanie on the 13th of August 2024. Tuesday today. I've been super busy, so been a bit on hold with the Astro vlog. But here it is for the week, starting today, the 13th, and going until Monday the 19th, which is also a beautiful frame to go into the next supermoon. The next full moon is coming up, and it will be end of Aquarius, end of Leo, and with T square to Uranus in Taurus, and Uranus rules Aquarius. So it's a very Aquarian, Uranian energy, electric energy, liberating energy, but also lots of unexpected and paradigm shifting phenomena are going on in the atmosphere, in the astrosphere, in our own lives, personally, and also collectively and in society. So, what's up this week? This will be the big build-up, of course, and this full moon is really a powerhouse. I say that sometimes, and for this one, definitely so, because the full moon will also catalyze the square of Jupiter and Saturn. So let's break this down a little bit in Virgo mode, in Mercury retro mode. Today is the last day of Mercury retro, still in Virgo, before Mercury re-enters retro Leo tomorrow. So even on that note, what's going on with Mercury, the communicator, the messenger, and representative archetype of the mind in a bigger sense. Mercury started its retro journey on the 4th of August, on the last new moon in Leo, in early Virgo, 4 degrees of Virgo. And it is backtracking to between 21 and 22 Leo. So most of it will be in Leo, in fact. And however, this Virgo side has been already super helpful to show us where our mental hang-ups can be when we get too carried away mentally, Mercury, with issues, with problems, with stuff that is not aligned and not in order. So that can be a crux, that can be a pitfall. But with Mercury retro, it can be also an opportunity to read between the lines and to really be more specific and more savvy, more skillful at interpreting symbols and seeing what's usually hidden. That is also a gift of Mercury retro. And a lot has come up in that regard, especially in relation to the Olympic Games in Paris. Paris has an association with Virgo. Virgo is sacred feminine, but Virgo also alignment. So there's one of the major cities in the world that has its architecture, its city planning, very much an intentional alignment. So some people say a Masonic context, and ceremony is very much Virgo, of course, right? So ceremony and alignment, but also the quality of showing your skills, and that's been really beautiful. We've seen a lot of really impressive skills of young athletes performing beautifully, fantastically, and at the same time being also super popular and really speaking to our hearts, right? So that Leo Virgo continuum has come up, while also there's been so much controversy around the ceremonies, the opening, and now also the closing ceremony. What was the symbolism? And I would suggest, yes, look into it. Symbols in plain sight, but only not to get totally pulled into some dark rabbit holes, right? So we always have to watch and to bring things out to the light for more transparency, but at the same time not dragging our own energy down. We don't need that, and that's not really a good contribution. So Mercury retrograde. Mercury goes, as I said, tomorrow back to Leo, where Mercury will be for a long time until September the 8th, when it comes, when it's already in forward motion. Mercury goes retro until the 28th of August, all in Leo, and then forward from that Leo side again. So Leo is again back to the heart, back to creativity, to joy, to joyful creative expression. So to come back to that side that can really help us, that can inspire us and can make things more colorful, more creative. Life is here to be celebrated. That's very Leo. Now, the full moon that's coming up will be, of course, in Leo for the Sun and Mercury. I show you the chart, and the Moon end of Aquarius. So this is what it looks like. Here you have the Sun and Mercury together, and that will be shortly after their conjunction, after what's called the inferior conjunction, the halfway point of Mercury retro, which will happen just the day before the full moon on the 18th of August. And that is a critical phase in the Mercury retro state, Mercury retro process, because it at that point the Sun will be, the Mercury will go behind the Sun in the zodiac, and the Sun will be further ahead in the zodiac. In other words, symbolically, Sun is spirit, consciousness, the heart will lead, can more easily lead again, and the mind can follow and be a messenger, an instrument, a tool, right, for expression of heart consciousness. So that is being fed into the energy field of the full moon, of the supermoon. And then we have that polarity between Sun, spirit, consciousness, communication from the heart, and also from end of Leo, where we are approaching the Sphinx point. Sphinx point is the cusp from Leo to Virgo. So the Leo side is a lot about self, it's about creativity, it's about love. It starts with self-love. And then the Virgo side is more the awareness, is more about the clarity, right? Who am I and what am I doing here? How can I put my love and my special gifts into service? That would be that continuum. But we're still strongly on the Leo side, right? So cultivating a strong and loving self, and also communicating that from that place. Then the moon side, the lunar side of the full moon, of course, right opposite end of Aquarius. I haven't looked at the Sabian symbol yet, but I will, and I will post that in the article that I'm about to write for her. That the Sabian symbols are always interesting because they're also an oracle that for each degree of the zodiac, that is sometimes really helpful and synchronistically, amazingly corresponds with the energy of the time and of that field of the new moon or full moon. So we see what that's going to be. Surprise, surprise. But end of Aquarius, when we come towards Pisces, is actually an energy of resonance, of synergy, of coherence, where people come together, where different fields and different systems from the Aquarius side coalesce, right? That's a Piscean theme, and where we come into coherence, right? That is very much Aquarius, Leo, Aquarius, Pisces thing. So coming together with people where there's a connection and coming into coherence, into heart coherence, especially from the Leo side, where everybody is a star, right? So Aquarius is really the circle and community, and especially community of connection to be celebrated. Then we have right between Sun and Moon, we have Uranus. And Uranus, end of Taurus, is the ruler of Aquarius. and it's also stationary. It's also at this point about to go retrograde on September 1st. So it's slowing down its motion, which is already relatively slow, but it's also a focal point in at least mid-August to mid-September, if not the whole month, August, September, but definitely now for the full moon. And with that t square, right? So t square being this 90-degree angle here, with Uranus being exactly, pretty much exactly between Sun, Mercury, and Moon. What does that mean? Uranus is typically the outlet, right? Or is the catalyst. Sorry, the apex of the t square is it, and in this case, it's Uranus. What does that mean? So with Uranus, it's a lot about liberation and stepping out of Taurian comfort zones, habits, and stagnation even, right? And disrupting that, um, interrupting that in a proactive mode, in a liberating mode, and not waiting till it gets disrupted, right? So both of that could happen with Uranus. It could be some wake-up calls, and they could have to do on the Taurian level with the earth, with nature, and also with anything that we value. So, but at the same time, if we mm, free ourselves, right? If we embody freedom, Uranus in Taurus, we can we don't have to get attached, right? So the attachment is a problem with Taurus when things are too comfortable or too habitual and too stagnant. It's harder to change these things, but Uranus invites us to break free. And so maybe you've already done that, and it comes more to fruition and it becomes more clear with that full moon in T square to Uranus. Then what's also going on, so this is quite a packed full moon, right? What's also going on and building up and will be exact on the day of the full moon, the 19th, is, as I said, the square from Jupiter to Saturn. Super important. Jupiter here, even in alignment with Mars, and Mars will meet and pass Jupiter tomorrow, the 14th, and both of them, you could say, both of them square Saturn. Saturn here in mid Pisces. And there's even another T square together with Venus. So Venus is here in early-ish Virgo, opposite Saturn, and Mars, Jupiter is in T square with both. Yeah, that's a lot, right? That's another big piece. Let me start from a simple background, as simple as I can make it, is what's with that Jupiter Saturn? That's the key element in it. They came together, the two biggest planets in the solar system came together at Winter Solstice 2020. They come together every 20 years, and that was the last one. They came together actually at the first degree of Aquarius. That's really significant in various ways because when they come together, that starts a new 20-year cycle, a new 20-year socio-political, economic, cultural cycle. That's what Jupiter and Saturn in combination bring up. Economic, did I say? Yeah, that as well. And in this case, also in a new sign of the first degree of Aquarius, and that is where Pluto is now, which is a big deal, right? So Pluto shifting into Aquarius this year, and it started last year already, but this year the deal will be sealed when it finally goes into Aquarius on November 19th. So we have this whole dynamic of Aquarius in the background again, where also the full moon is. And what was that starting point at Winter Solstice 2020? I call it the theme is a new era for our shared humanity, which is Aquarius, right? For collaboration, for coming together with our resources, with our gifts, with our talents, and building the new. That is very much the early Aquarius. The collaboration, the contribution, the building together, that is all the interface, the continuum from Capricorn to Aquarius. And so that was the starting point, Winter Solstice 2020, given what was going on in 2020, right? The challenges of that time. And now we're coming to the first square between these two planets. And a square is typically a crisis and a challenge again. Something needs to be done here, and something's on the plate. So what is there? What's the current crisis point? It has to do with the signs of Gemini, where Mars and Jupiter are, and Pisces, where Saturn is. So there's a clash that needs to be worked out. And Saturn in Pisces, so let's start with Gemini. So Gemini has a lot to do with diversity, with duality also, with branching out, but also with division, because division over different mind forms, basically, right? Gemini, different information even, and different people have, lots of people have a hard time talking with each other anymore, right? So we don't have the same language anymore. It's like the Tower of Babel or something, right? People talk different languages, and they come from different silos, I should say, also information silos, with all the information that's out now, and that with algorithm, it just reinforces and yeah, it's confirmation bias in a way, right? So what you already know, you find out more about, and or what you believe in this case, right? And it has created so much division. We know that, right? So don't need to emphasize on that. But now that has also become quite weaponized, I should say, right? Weaponized is also a theme around Mars, right? There's an aggression, there's a warfare going on, information warfare, all of that is out there. At the same time, it's also so much is available, so much is so much opportunity to learn and to get informed, right? It's almost like too much with Jupiter, right? And so this piece around discussions, debates, and information and language is a big one with Gemini, clearly, right? And then we have the Pisces side with Saturn. So Saturn in Pisces, Jupiter in Gemini just for a year, right? Started end of May this year, goes till early June next year. But Saturn in Pisces for longer, since March 2023 until altogether early 2026. So Saturn brings a curriculum and something to, to really learn and integrate and get better at. It's like your cosmic coach. And so it has to do from the sometimes with Saturn challenges come up to be masters, right? Mastered. And so where's the challenge? Where's the obstacle, right? And it has to do with connection, right? Connection is a key piece for Pisces, and there's such a lack and difficulty of connection, while paradoxically, as Pisces has it, there is so much out there. There's so many opportunities to connect, like even on social media. But is it true connection, right? So, and even the spiritual connection is so important, and can appear hard and difficult to maintain and to be consistent with, right? That's Saturn. So it's a lot about spiritual practice, right? And having also with Pisces about surrender and faith, right? Having faith in the higher powers and in the universe having our back. And there is a cosmic design here going on, although it appears pretty chaotic, which is also Pisces, right? So everything is coming together. Lots seems to be falling apart, but how can things come together? How can we facilitate and support things to come together more as they should? So often it has to do with Pisces getting ourselves, especially our ego, our agenda out of the way, and going more into a surrendered place and into a place of better vibrations and connectedness and ease and flow and abundance in a way, right? So in a place of like, it's good, but it's not a denial, right? So that's a fine line. Also, with like, I don't want to deal with any of this stuff. I'm just in my bliss mode, right? So it's both. It's really anchoring. Saturn helps us to anchor the light, anchor the connectedness to spirit, and being also practicing what it means to be part of the web of life, right? And staying connected while also, when necessary, letting go and allowing energies that are not meant to come together to find their way and to be released, and also having healthy boundaries in a more like smooth way, boundaries to energies that are not conducive, like media overwhelm and stuff like that, random stuff that is just influencing us too much and being sort of toxic and contagious, right? Viral in that regard, not just going for all the viral stuff and getting carried away. It can be also Saturn, some discipline. And so that comes up. So there's this dynamic of Jupiter in Gemini, Saturn in Pisces, that is a crisis now, and it can have to do with too much information, too much division, and we need to come more into unity. So that is kind of a simple way of putting it. Now, what else does this full moon bring? This is already a lot, right? And what we're approaching is Pluto slowly going back to Capricorn, but not until shortly before the next new moon. Next new moon will be on September 2nd, and Pluto goes back over the threshold of Aquarius into Capricorn on September the 2nd. So it's now just on the brink, Pluto on the brink, literally first degrees, first minutes of Aquarius. So this is all that cusp where it's about collaboration and so on. I already mentioned it. And that is literally also where Saturn and Jupiter, Saturn here now, Jupiter here now, where they were both together, conjunct at Winter Solstice 2020. So in other words, the seed that was planted at that time, now there's a lot of transformation is already underway for this. So let's see what else is going on this week. This is really the highlight. Everything is building up to the 19th. And in the meantime, yes, we have Mars, Jupiter tomorrow, which itself can feel like, yeah, there's so much energy here for communication, for information. Oh my gosh, everything is so interesting. I have to follow all this. I have to talk to everybody. I feel like Mars. And could also be very contentious debates. And at the same time, it's a polarity even right now with the moon in Sagittarius opposite tomorrow, opposite Jupiter and Mars, right? So there can be a lot of discussions around beliefs, and it can also help. This is what I had today with a few clients. Help release old belief systems, right? And get new approaches, alternatives. This is what Gemini brings in, alternatives, ways of seeing things, of talking to people, and new information can make quite a difference as well. of the old beliefs. At the same time, the moon in Sagittarius since this morning, all the day tomorrow, 14th, and on Thursday the evening at Thursday morning, 10:51 a.m. the moon goes into Capricorn. So this is a very Sagittarian midweek here, and a wonderful time to be out and about or be inspired and inspiring, and yeah, actually raise vibrations and connect with the heart. That's all very Sagittarian, and connect with freedom, connect with new momentum, especially after that Scorpio moon weekend, which could have gotten really intense actually, especially even yesterday, Monday, could have gotten intense. Just a quick flashback as the moon was in T square with the sun in Leo and Uranus in Taurus. So that was like, lots of tension here. Yeah, lots of undercurrents that emotionally things could have felt challenging or things to process. But we're through that, I hope, and things look again brighter and clearer and more understanding. Sagittarius on the other side of it. Then the moon goes into Capricorn, as I said, on Thursday morning, will be and Thursday evening. So Thursday will be very Capricorn Saturn kind of day, because the moon goes in Capricorn and Mars was square Saturn, right? A ruler of Capricorn. So there could be some kind of damper, or I should say, yeah, like serious stuff, and need to be brought to the table. That is also can have to do with literally, yeah, so much is possible now with the Sag moon, and everybody's got an attitude. And then Capricorn says, okay, so what really works here, right? And what is most needed? What's the priority is also what Saturn says and what Capricorn says. And that would be also a contrast to Mars in Gemini. So don't get too distracted. Go into spiritual anchoring, all right? So going to better vibrations, better connectedness. Don't just be in the head all the time. That can be a Gemini thing and a Mercury retro thing. Go into coherence, into a better yeah, energy field that connects. Then we have the moon in Capricorn all day Friday, the 16th, and until the 17th, Saturday, mid-afternoon. So the Capricorn moon typically has this connotation of emotionally things can get heavy or challenging. However, I hope that with Pluto in Capricorn over the last year since 2008, right, you have processed a lot what has been weighing you down and what has been even conditioned, right, by old hierarchies, by old institutions and authority structures. It's very Capricorn, right? That could feel residues of that life is harder than it needs to be. That can be a Capricorn thing. Let me get a sip of water on this note. And the moon can help us ground ourselves, be with grandmother moon as she going into fullness. And yeah, and also keep things simpler, right? That is also simplicity. Then the moon goes into Aquarius and meets Pluto there almost immediately. That will be on Saturday afternoon. So there is, the moon brings out Pluto. That's once a month. And in this case, sorry, I've been talking a lot today. So the moon brings out Pluto. That can also mean like, okay, there's a strong urge and powerful energy that transforms us, and we feel often with Pluto, the moon, right? We can feel extremes. We can feel extremely disempowered or extremely empowered, which shows us a contrast, which also shows us where transformation is needed or happening. And it has to do again with being with people, being with friends, being with community, where of adults, of mature people, right? And back from the Capricorn to Aquarius, where there's a really good, powerful collaboration and powerful connection is possible that has future. Then on Sunday, with the moon in Aquarius, we have Sun and Mercury conjunct, as I said before. That's the day, the halfway point of Mercury retro, although it's not calendar-wise halfway, but zodiac-wise halfway. Mercury retro from August 4th to 28th. That's what I meant. Yeah, okay, so it is kind of 16th would be the exact halfway point, but it happens on the 18th. End of Leo is where Sun and Mercury come together, and the Sun takes the lead, as I said, from that time on, halfway point, and that is also the Promethean point. The Promethean phase starts. Second half of Mercury retro is called the Promethean phase. The first half up to that is always the Epimethean phase. The Epimethean epic is like old stories. Keep coming up for processing and noticing our mental patterns. And the Promethean is about new ideas, the mind is reorienting, right? And it's like an innovative energy as well in that, and a paradigm shifting. And Promethean energy is also Aquarian energy in a way, right? So that's a nice connection with the Aquarius moon. And Promethean is also Uranian, and that's a connection with Uranus in the full moon the day after. So there can be, especially August 17th, 18th, 19th, lots of liberating shifts, and they have to do with our connection with the mind, but also with from the Uranus and Taurus, with our values and how we embody joy, embody freedom, and all of that breakthroughs, hopefully. Then the full moon will be on the 19th, and yes, it's a super moon. And yes, it's also a super important full moon for the US, because the United States have their moon. Let me see if I get the chart right here. I might have it here in my folder or not, but the United States, yeah, here it is, have their moon also end of Aquarius. Show you in a second. Going screen sharing. Here it is. Moon end of Aquarius, almost exactly where the full moon will be. Let me just compare. So that full moon of the US is at 2709 Aquarius. The full moon, holy moly, the full moon will be at 2715. This is like almost smack right on. Super important full moon. Lots of things are coming to fruition, coming fully into the light. And yeah, and there can be also lots of unstable energy because of that Uranian point. Uranian energy right between Sun and Moon. Lots going on for the States with that full moon, that's for sure. And yeah, so I almost close here, but one thing I still want to say, we're in the last 10 days, 10 degrees, last decanate of Leo now, since the 12th, which was 2 days ago, 12th of, sorry, it was yesterday, anyway, maybe 2 days ago when you hear this, doesn't matter. So since the 12th until the 22nd of August, pretty much every year, we have the last 10 degrees of Leo. And the last 10 degrees and last 10 days, they have a Sagittarius undertone. So that is a combination. Leo and Aquarius has both to do with the heart. So that's why I call the motto for these 10 days, following the path of the heart, because the path is also Sagittarius, and that comes out big time today and tomorrow with the moon in Sagittarius on top of it, right? So that's a really good go-to, and from that place, perspectives open up, right? That's also the Sagittarius energy. That's it for now. That's probably a lot for you to digest, but I wanted to lay it out here today for you, and hopefully it's helpful. And if you want to read things up, you can find them on my blog. I always post a link to my blog below. I will do that again in this video, below this video, whether you see it on YouTube, on Facebook, or Instagram. And if you'd like to receive a newsletter for the new moon and full moon, next one will be the one on the 19th. Maybe your birthday is there, or your birthday is end of Aquarius, end of Taurus, end of Scorpio. All of those will be relevant. If you'd like to be on the newsletter list, send me an email or send me a message wherever you see this, and with your email address, and add you to the newsletter list and of subscribers, and you can always unsubscribe if you prefer. Lastly, I have this month my client appreciation special on month of August. It's already well underway, and clients have taken me up on it. So that's an important reason why I'm so busy. And it's on all month, and I celebrate the anniversary of my astrology practice. That will be exact tomorrow, the 14th of August. 24 years in astrology practice. So if you've been a client for a long time, you get more discount even. And if you've been a client for just new or within the last year, you get still 11% off of my regular rates, consultation rates. So this would be a really nice occasion if you could use some astro perspectives to explore here together. Bring it on, send me a message, and we schedule something, we schedule a session and line this up. I wish you a beautiful week as into the supermoon, and yeah, celebrate the lunar influx, especially together with community, because it's also an Aquarius full moon. Have a good week. Bye.